the future of money. I got to know Arnell a few years back when we did a political fundraiser together for a fantastic candidate here in Providence. He is just full of so much energy. Cryptocurrency is not a new topic, but it's an evolving one, and one that will affect how we think of money, and soon how we may raise funds. Arnell Milhouse is the co-founder and CEO of Career Devs, a wonderful organization right here, Career Devs Computer Science Institute. They help create high-paying jobs for everyone. He's a serial entrepreneur. Impressively, he is the entrepreneur in residence at Brown's Nelson Center for Entrepreneurship. Arnell believes there's no reason why Rhode Island shouldn't continue to be the world leader in innovation. And with that mighty statement, I'm going to hand off to Arnell.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, Pat. Thank you, Annette, and everyone who's involved in putting this together. This is a phenomenal time here in Rhode Island, and this is a prescient event that you're putting on, because the future, as we know, especially with the advent of COVID, is going to be very, very different. COVID is accelerating so many of the things that were far off on the horizon. And speaking of horizons, we're talking about blockchain, the future of startups and money. And in its most simple form, everyone hears about this word blockchain, blockchain, blockchain. The majority of this conversation will be about blockchain and innovation, not Bitcoin. We'll touch upon Bitcoin in the end, but it's about blockchain. And blockchain is an interesting and new technology. And in its most simple form, what it is a universal and immutable decentralized transaction ledger. Think of the booklets, the little checkbooks that you used to have when you went shopping. Every time you wrote a check, you would write it in your little ledger. Imagine your spouse having a copy of your ledger. So every time you wrote something down, it would pop up in theirs and they would see whatever you were spending. I know that frightens and probably scares the bejeebas out of most people, but that's essentially what blockchain is. It's this universally shared accounting ledger. And it's also a feature and tool for radically streamlining how business transactions are done. So it's this universal ledger, but it disrupts the way our draconian process. And one of the things you can think of, some use cases, if you think of the DMV, right? You have to go to this floor, this place, this line, stand over here, and even buying a house, how many papers you have to sign. All of those things are really flattened and placed into this universally accessible, decentralized ledger. Now, talking about the fundamental concepts behind something like blockchain and its impact on startups, new rules are to old businesses as these things are. Think about what the internet did for information in general. Things that used to be stored in books or in CDs, in catalogs, are now universally accessible at your fingertips. What the telephone did to communication, and think about what Amazon has done to retail. Blockchain, however, is really more along the lines of what E equals MC squared did to the universe. And if you think about defining an innovation, I think about the question, what is something useful and valuable that you believe that very few of our 7 billion neighbors on this planet believe? I asked that question at the beginning of my TED Talk that I did a few years ago, and it's something that I think about often when I wake up. It's something that's on my wall. What is something that I believe that very few people believe? And this is a really, really important question in terms of innovation and startups. This is rooted in the principle that old rules lose new battles. Old inventions don't change the world. You don't see people going back and unearthing, John D. Rockefeller's business plan and saying, ooh, I'm going to get into the Standard Oil business. Old rules lose new battles. And new rules are the things that are really going to bring us into the future. And so for blockchain, it is to transactions what that EMC squared, E equals MC squared is to the universe. It is going to touch every single transaction on this planet. Yet, less than 1% of all companies that are in existence today are powered by blockchain technology. 10 years from now, that will be on the order of 50% of all startups. And those startups that are running on blockchain technology will have astronomical advantages over the startups that don't. You can think of this in an analogy of, look at the taxi companies. The only thing that separates the taxi companies from Uber is the internet. And yet Uber is more valuable than every taxi cab company on this planet times a billion. And the same thing, the thing that separates the hotel companies from Airbnb is the internet and its ability to decentralize people's ability to pick and choose where they want to go, where they want to stay. In fact, I'm on my way to a cabin in New Hampshire. I'm going to be sitting cabin side. It's my birthday today. We're going up to the mountains, to the White Mountains of not Canada, actually New Hampshire. We're going to the White Mountains of New Hampshire today. And, you know, Airbnb, decentralized. So the rule of blockchain is this. The same leverage that the internet gave to Uber and Airbnb, you can think of blockchain as being the internet version 2.0.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yes, absolutely.
So, and we only have about a minute left, and really important also, for those that are actually thinking about or contemplating getting investments for their companies, either this year or 5 years from now, what is blockchain, actually, what is the future of money going to mean for them?
Okay.
And actually tell us a little bit about
what. So perfect. This is actually the slide that I'm on right now. So for blockchains in startups, in 2018, Wall Street raised $47 billion through IPOs. However, $6.8 billion was raised by a handful of companies that created their own token and offered something called an initial coin offering, an ICO. And if you've been following the price of Bitcoin today, it's really, really taking off. So smart startups can create their own token. It's a representation of value of your company. You can place that on a blockchain, and then that will be open to the public. And what that does is that there's zero regulation and zero gatekeeping. There's no Goldman Sachs. There's no JP Morgan, no venture capitalists, no angel investors. Sorry, Thorne. Still love you. But it removes the middleman. It creates this friction-free capitalism, what Adam Smith spoke about, right? And I know we have 1 minute left. So a blockchain ICO, it takes an innovative idea, you create your own blockchain token, and you offer your initial coin to the internet, to the public. And usually those ideas, I know, let me give 30 seconds left. I'll try to bring this to a close. Blockchain startups really embrace the concept of decentralized applications. And you're going to hear that word dApps over and over again over the next 12 months. Decentralized applications. They're going to be decentralized versions of Facebook, a decentralized version of Uber, a decentralized version of Airbnb, decentralized versions of accounting, law firms, and giving people the ability to flatten the process. Blockchains are also importantly built on third generation blockchains. Things such as Ada Cardano, Chainlink, and Polkadot. The first generation blockchain was Bitcoin. Second generation was Ethereum. But new blockchains that are now proof of stake instead of proof of work. And Annette and myself, we're talking about doing an event in the future to really help Rhode Island capture this cutting edge opportunities so that we can have a piece of this new global economy, because you're going to see a new global financial operating system coming into play and competing against different players, and central banks, even the United States and Visa, already have patents out to begin minting the new US cryptocurrency dollar. So that's my brief 10-minute talk on blockchain and its impact and meaning for startups. And I look forward to, if anyone has questions, please, you can put them in the chat room. I'll take a snapshot of that and we will revisit that again.
So Arnell, first of all, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you for joining us on your birthday. There are some questions in the chat. Maybe we can get some succinct answers to these, although I'm looking at them, there might not be quick answers to them. Daniel Dessereau, I hope I pronounced that right, asks, where do you see this application in innovating healthcare? Which is going to, of course, be an interesting one, because then you deal with HIPAA. Certain parts are regulated. They're not freely distributed. But do you have a thought on that? And then I'll move on to the next question.
Absolutely. You will carry your medical records with you.
EMRs.
Yes, you will carry your medical records with you, and you will be able to, it will influence insurance as well. You'll be able to have businesses competing based upon your health, based upon opportunities. And so, yes, the EMR, the electronic medical records, are going to, but you'll have control over it. Right now, the medical companies control your information and your data, and they are selling that data. They're leveraging that. So you'll be in control of it. You'll be in control of your own health.
And then secondly, David is concurring with you. Secondly, we have a question from Christopher Bassett. Are there resources that you recommend to affordably distribute an ICO?
Yes. So last thing I want to touch upon in terms of the EMRs, your entire DNA chain will be in your phone. And when you're going to eat food and purchase food and consume things, it will tell you what this food's direct impact will be on your health. Specifically, not as, okay, are apples good for you, but really at a very granular level and nuanced level, you'll see how this is going to impact your next 24 hours of your life. So those are some of the innovations that you're going to see there. And in terms of resources, I'm going to place my email here because there are a ton of resources, and I would love for you to contact me and we can talk about it. We're planning a blockchain hackathon in the spring, and we have some really great, we have some of the creators of some major cryptocurrencies coming to join us for this hackathon. And I
was also going to mention that Arnell and I, together with IBM, are going to be putting on a event probably in the February timeframe. That's a doing event that actually you could get your hands on some of these technologies with the help of IBM. So that's potentially another session.
Looking forward to working with you guys.
Yeah.
So I'll share one thing that's really interesting. Our first cryptocurrency, so I run career devs. We have about 60 software engineers. Our first cryptocurrency mining server is this behemoth right here. And now all of our new cryptocurrency mining servers are these things.
Wow.
Literally, just this. Where is it? Just this device here itself. It replaces that. So we have a room full of these things that take up, is smaller than your wallet. And it's really bringing about disruption. So we're really looking forward to partnering with Annette and IBM to bring about this innovative event, which is a hands-on, you don't have to be a technologist, but everyone's going to mint their own cryptocurrency and create their own blockchain.
Can't wait.
Cool.
Excellent. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Arnell. Happy birthday.
Ciao. Thank you so much.